Hey, I'm Jesse. Let's have a devotion. We are in Exodus chapter 36. We're going to look at verses 8 through 38. All right. I know that our sermon yesterday, if you're watching this concurrently with the Redemption Church or doing everything in order, I know that our sermon yesterday wrapped up the book of Exodus. So what's the deal? All right. These are the background to the sermon. And they will also sound redundant if you've been following along the entire time. But there's actually a beautiful reason for that. It's finally, at long last, put up or shut up time. Our devotions will complete the book of Exodus, causing the combination of our curriculum. This was part one. Part two, I think, has like a scarab on it. Our sermons and these devotions will cover every verse of the book of Exodus. The reason they'll sound redundant is they are. And they are redundant because the people of God went just like AWOL and straight into idolatry in Exodus 32. And now you have this reestablishing of the covenant in Exodus 34. And now this reiteration of the instruction to actually build the tabernacle in Exodus chapter 36. So think of this as a prequel, the background to the sermon that we just had. And next week, we will start the book of Lamentations. But for now, let's start our final week of devotions going through the book of Exodus. Here's Exodus 36:8. All the skilled artisans among those doing the work made the tabernacle with 10 curtains. Bezalel made them of finely spun linen, as well as blue, purple, and scarlet yarn with a design of cherubim worked into them. Do you remember that from a sermon a few weeks ago? Now they're finally being built. They're finally being made. And there's Bezalel, not only doing the work, but teaching others to do the work. Each curtain was 42 feet long and 6 feet wide. Okay, picture that in your head. 42 feet long and 6 feet wide. All the curtains had the same measurements. He joined 5 of the curtains to each other, and the other 5 curtains he joined to each other. He made loops of blue yarn on the edge of the last curtain of the first set and did the same on the edge of the outermost curtain in the second set. He made 50 loops on one curtain and 50 loops on the edge of the curtain in the second set so that the loops lined up with each other. He also made 50 gold clasps and joined the curtains to each other so that the tabernacle became a single unit. Look at the brilliance of this design. He made curtains of goat hair for a tent over the tabernacle. He made 11 of them. Each curtain was 45 feet long and 6 feet wide. All 11 curtains had the same measurements. He joined 5 of the 6 curtains together and the other 6 together. He made 50 loops on the edge of the outermost curtain in the first set and 50 loops on the edge of the corresponding curtain in the second set. He made 50 bronze clasps to join the tent together as a single unit. He also made a covering for the tent from ram skins dyed red and a covering of fine leather on top of it. He made upright supports of acacia wood for the tabernacle. Each support was 15 feet long and 7 inches wide. Each support had 2 tenons for joining one to another. He did the same for all the supports of the tabernacle. He made supports for the tabernacle as follows. He made 20 for the south side, and he made 40 silver bases to put under the 20 supports, 2 bases under the first support for its 2 tenons, and 2 bases under each of the following supports for their 2 tenons. For the second side of the tabernacle, the north side, he made 20 supports with their 40 silver bases, 2 bases under the first support and 2 bases under each of the following ones. And for the back of the tabernacle, on the west side, he made 6 supports. He also made 2 additional supports for the back corners of the tabernacle. They were paired at the bottom and joined together at the top in a single ring. This is what he did with both of them for the 2 corners. So there were 8 supports with their 16 silver bases, 2 bases under each one. He made 5 crossbars of acacia wood for the supports on one side of the tabernacle, 5 crossbars for the supports on the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 crossbars for those at the back of the tabernacle on the west. He made the central crossbar run through the middle of the supports from one end to the other. He overlaid them with gold and made their rings out of gold as holders for the crossbars. He also overlaid the crossbars with gold. Then he made the curtain with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely spun linen. He made it with a design of cherubim worked into it. He made 4 pillars of acacia wood for it and overlaid them with gold. Their hooks were of gold. He cast 4 silver bases for the pillars. He made a screen embroidered with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely spun linen for the entrance to the tent, together with its 5 pillars and their hooks. He overlaid the tops of the pillars and their bands with gold, but their 5 bases were bronze. At long last, it is time to build. Okay, we have seen these prescriptive details with the instructions, you are to do this. And now what makes this chapter of Exodus really exciting is that it reads, he made this. Okay, so we've gone from here's what you're supposed to do to now in chapter 36, here's what Bezalel did. So we've gone from conceptualization to reality. And I will submit to you that realization beats ideation every day of the week. Okay, to go from talking about things in an ethereal way, just conceptually, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? Like, to go from that to actually doing something, man, that eats the lunch out of ideation any day of the week. And what makes this even better than that contrast is that God said to do it, and now they're actually doing it. They're actually doing it. They've actually done it. It's gone from a set of instructions to a thing you can look at right now. You could actually reach out and touch it with your hand. You could feel the goat hair curtain. You could see the gold and the you could see the scarlet yarn. You could see the cherubim. You could see the bases. You could see the whole structure come together, and it was beautiful to behold, I'm sure. This is follow through, and it's epic. Bezalel's been on standby, by the way. We've heard his name a lot. We've heard Oholiab's name a lot. But the people of Israel kind of went buck wild for a second in chapter 32. And so those instructions were like, hold up. We're kind of in limbo. We're kind of in a loop right now. Hold off on all that stuff I told you to build because I'm pretty fed up with my people right now. And now they've reconciled with God. And now Bezalel's like ready to go. And he's doing it and he's building it. And now we have tangible results. And it's awesome to behold. Hey, anybody at the Redemption Church, can you relate to my excitement I feel over this? To go from just digital renderings of a building, like, man, how awesome is it, to see text that describes the transition into the actual building, okay? Like to go from conceptualization to reality, to go from instruction to construction, to go from conceptualization to actuality. Like that is so exciting. Are you prone to be someone who talks about ideas fancifully of what you might want to do one day, but you never really follow through on any of them? Look at the difference in Exodus chapter 36. Make the leap from I ought to I did, and see how beautiful the results are.